In this video, I'll show you how to set up and manage live streams in YouTube.
Hey, this is Kimberly, and I'm going to talk a little bit about regenerative agriculture. First, I would like to take a moment to give a land acknowledgement. This land was the land of the Ishak people, the Culotta people, and the Chitimacha people before the settler colonists took it from them, and they lived here in a way that was in balance with the nature and the land, and part of regenerative agriculture is to try to get back to that way of life. So thank you for taking this time to be with me. This is Earthshare Gardens. Welcome. We run a CSA, which is community supported agriculture. It's like a subscription model where people pay up front for
every week
run
coming
a
to
CSA,
the farm to pick
which
up
is community supported
harvest.
agriculture. It's like a subscription
that way,
model. It ensures that we have income people to pay me a little bit and operating expenses and stuff. It's 5 acres of land, and right now we have 20 members that come every week to pick up their veggies, and I get about $1,000 a month, which is pretty dope, and I can almost live on that. So currently you can hear the freeway over there, right? It's a reminder that and what we're all experiencing with this pandemic, a lot of the systems we depend on are not sustainable. Industrial agriculture is one of those systems. And, it depends on waste products from the petrochemical industry and monoculture to be able to mechanize production, and genetic modifications that will allow plants to withstand herbicides and pesticides. And sustainable agriculture is something where we're not damaging the land and we can actually persist for more than a couple of decades. But regenerative agriculture is actually where we're trying to rebuild and contribute in a positive way to other life forms. So it's really about having less of a human-centric perspective and considering all of the other life forms that provide ecosystem services for us to be able to have clean air, clean water, and good, healthy living soil. I'm going to point out, just because we're right here, this is one of our rain barrels. We capture rain from this little roof. We don't even have a gutter, so it's just what's coming off of that 1.5 feet. And in one 4-inch rain event, we filled up the bucket completely. I had emptied it previously. So let's see. The first thing about agriculture that is becoming understood is that soil life is incredibly important. There's more life, diversity, and volume, like the actual mass underneath the soil than there is above the soil. So just clearing up a little bit of soil there so we can see it. Okay. And a lot of carbon is stored in the soil life because animals' bodies and all of these microorganisms, fungi, bacteria, nematodes, all of those things, they're made up of carbon. And so when there's a healthy living ecosystem underground, that's actually very stably stored carbon. And as industrial agriculture tills up the soil, there's no way life can survive in that. So the top inches, the top foot of soil doesn't allow for life, and that's, it's a very important area that we're destroying. So we here use a lot of organic inputs and mulch instead of tilling. I haven't tilled in 2 years, and we produce quite a lot of food that way. But this is the city's free compost, which is all of our yard waste, aged, and has so many good nutrients. It's free from Lafayette Consolidated Government, which is freaking awesome. We mix it with food waste from particularly Emerge juicers. We get that waste product from their juice operation. And it's really good to be able to add poop and stuff like that to it too. I don't have a source for that yet, but I'm working on it. And we get hay. There's a trade for vegetables from a farmer who grows hay for his cattle. It's Max Baquet, and he raises happy cows and sells beef under Beef de Baquet. And as you can see, there are always birds eating crawfish on top of our hay bales. This is what our halfway finished compost looks like once it's been mixed. And you can see the dark black color is humus, which is gold for gardens. Okay, I am kind of in an in-between stage. Okay, so also as far as mulching, like with the no-till system, as you can see, I cut, this was brassicas, which are a cool season crop, and when I took them down, normally you would till them in or something like that, and I just leave the leaves on the surface and the sun desiccates them, and then they're mulch. They're you have to be careful about disease spread and that kind of thing, but I'm practicing just really increasing biodiversity. So you can see we got 2 inches of rain last night, and there's some standing water, which is fine by me at this point. Okay, some plants. How about some squash plants? There's a giant big old squash. Squash flowers. So in Louisiana, we deal with, we don't have a harsh winter. What we do have is a really harsh summer. And there's actually a period in the summer where it gets in the mid-90s, high 90s, and things won't germinate, so you can't start plants, but also things can't be pollinated because the pollen dies. So we have a winter in the summer, and a lot of people don't realize that. But with organic farming, these are stink bug eggs that I'm wiping off. They're our biggest predator. There's a little cucumber beetle, zinnia, felled beans, looking kind of trashy out here, but we do what we can. I got marigolds mixed in my squash here. So timing in organic gardening is everything. And here that means seeding stuff for the spring. I seeded January 1st, and I could have seeded weeks before that. These are some old beans. There's sunflowers. Oh, I wanted to show you all the sunflowers with the beans. So, what else? Companion planting success. I have a sunflower and a ladybug and some green beans that need to be harvested. Now they're probably going to seed. But this is a very old traditional companion planting method. As you can see, sunflowers are really tall and really strong and can support the weight of another plant. Let's see. poop. I don't have any animals in my system at this point other than bees, but I would like to get some. It's really important to have those, biological processors, creating some poop fertilizers. This is a chicory in bloom. Oh, I wanted to show the hedgerows. Most successful one is over here. Everything's a bit of a mess. So another aspect of biodiversity, this is just the most successful portion. Apologies for how loud it's going to be over here by the freeway. I've been trying to build what we call like hedgerows. So essentially on the outside of the cultivated soil, inside of the garden, we've been really amending the soil with inputs and trying to improve it. Outside of the soil has mostly been grass that some of our board members would mow. And I have been gradually reclaiming areas for, these are native prairie plants. This tick seed I think is an annual, but the black-eyed Susans, Rudbeckias are perennials, and so they have really, really deep roots that persist, season to season, year to year, and really create a really safe place for life under the soil that goes down, dozens of feet. And so that's really important. You can see that's some arugula that I let go to flower, which a lot of times I'll just let crops go to flower to have food for pollinators. I edge the garden beds with onion. These are chives and shallots, and I've been gradually transplanting them around all the perimeter of the bed, and that helps to prevent rabbits and other things like that. It's kind of like a scent confusion, and there's a couple other ways that it works. I'm experimenting with new crops. This is someone gave me shiso, I think it's called perilla, one of those superfoods, and then this is a volunteer weed. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name, sorry, but it's pretty common in Indian food and comes along very readily here, so we let it take up some space, and we'll harvest it sometimes too. I can go dig up a potato. That would be fun. This is kind of the beginning of our little food forest orchard. We have a tree corridor there at the back of the 5 acres, but in front here, these are blackberries, and we have a bunch of figs planted, some banana plants that aren't too happy yet, and various other things that once planted, year after year will just keep providing food. As you can see, all these blackberries. And so that's a system that I'm really interested in, is perennial food systems, food forests. It's a way of land stewardship that year to year will require less and less work and time, and provides food not just for humans but for all species. Yay! Not all species, but whoever eats berries and that kind of thing. Here's a little flower garden. I was gonna go over to the bees, but we're cutting this a little bit short, so I'm gonna dig up a potato. These are tomato plants, which I'm gonna have to start aggressively protecting from more winter squash. Yay! Okay, these are potato plants that have been harvested. This is what it looks like after I harvest. We just put the hay mulch back, and leave the tops of the plants for mulch. So here's a plant. Gonna put that over there for mulch. You can see there's always snails, grubs, other life. Stink bag! Oh geez, gotta kill it. Sorry, I hate doing it, but most people would feel very uncomfortable about all this life, but I'm into it. It's kind of wet, so I wouldn't normally be doing this. Oh man, okay. Shoot, I'm gonna have to. Oh no! Rain when the mature potatoes. That one's good. A couple of them had some rotty spots. Okay, this is what your hands look like when you work in the garden. It's wonderful. I love it. Let me check out my notes again. This is an artichoke that I didn't harvest. It's about to bloom. They make a really beautiful purple flower. This is kind of just a test. Artichokes can be perennial, in other